If you're thinking about getting into guitar building, or maybe you want to buy a guitar kit that you can put together online, then you might want to consider these things that I'm going to cover today, sort of what you need to know from a repair perspective before you just jump into building something that I wish I knew before I started. I'm Dave with Stringing Together, and let's dive in. So the inspiration for this video came from a couple of repairs I got in this past couple of weeks, which was, one was directly from a builder that somebody gave to me, which was like a Gibson copy, and then another one was a kit guitar that somebody tried to put together. So I thought those would be good examples to illustrate my point. So let's start with the kit. So this is a guitar that somebody got as a kit, and it sounds actually pretty good once I plugged it in, but he gave it to me and it said that he never played it because the electronics just were always buzzing and he couldn't get it to stop, so it was basically unplayable. Looks like maybe he got the neck used off somebody else, since given the fact that he said he hadn't played it and it's all chewed up. But it's got the hollow body, should be a great sounding guitar, and it's a shame because it was so close. When I opened it up, it had the typical Telecaster, the classic Telecaster wiring, and everything was in the right spot, but it was just buzzing like crazy because of one cold solder joint in the ground connection. So what that is a joint that's not properly fused to whatever metal it's attaching to. And if you don't know that, if you're just buying a kit and thinking, okay, I just have to put this here, follow the instructions, but you don't know how to diagnose that cold solder joint, then you can drive yourself crazy because you put it all together and everything's perfect, and then all of a sudden you plug it in and buzzing like crazy. So definitely you want to learn about that. I've got some introductory sort of a playlist about guitar wiring if you want to dive more into that, called Guitar Wiring Playlist, pretty basic. And I've got a cheat sheet that goes along with it, which is definitely helpful. It'll kind of get you off the ground, get you running with wiring. So you can find that in the description below. But essentially, a cold solder joint, if you can diagnose it, then you don't have to just take everything apart. You can just find where it is. You find, using a multimeter, just going from one connection to the next, and looking for a spot where there's a little bit of resistance. And that resistance, which shouldn't be there because it should be a continuous circuit, will tell you where that cold solder joint is, where there's just not quite connected properly. That's something that you're definitely going to want to know if you're buying a kit. And let's talk about this Gibson that I got in, which is kind of a weird guitar. This repair is kind of interesting. It came from a builder very recently. I think he bought it about 12 days before he gave it to me. And I'm not going to say who built it. One, because I don't want to badmouth anyone. Two, because I'm not actually sure the legalities of building an exact Gibson copy. But the goal obviously was to make it look like a used Gibson. So even somehow got this cracked look on the finish, like an old nitrocellulose Gibson guitar, which I can see the appeal of. And then he also added some sort of faded looking hardware on there. But I couldn't really believe, looking at the frets, how many high frets there were. They were all seated perfectly, so they weren't lifted or anything, but there were 4 or 5 high frets that I noticed, which potentially were causing buzz. But more noticeable was just how flat they were on top. I mean, the crowning job was, I was kind of blown away that this was a reputable guitar builder. I would say nailing the fretwork is kind of like your base foundation for, even if you're just buying a kit and buying a pre-made neck. A lot of the times those necks and the frets on the necks are not going to be seated properly. They're not going to be level. So you really want to make sure you understand at least how to seat and level your frets before you even put together a kit guitar. So if you want to learn more about that, I do have a course that you can check out. Follow the link in the description, put in your email, and it's yours. So it'll just teach you how to at least seat and level your frets. And the crowning is, you should know from playing that you really want the nice thin rounded top on your guitar as opposed to something flat like this. So really, crowning is fairly easy, especially if you're using a different style of crowning file. I like to use the 3-corner file from Stuart McDonald, but wherever you're using it, I like to get a really thin layer on top. That's why I use this sanding tool here, which is a prism with sandpaper attached to it. Pretty simple device, and one, it'll clean off the sides of those frets, but it'll also make that top very thin, so you're not going to be affected by the strings buzzing against it, and it'll feel better when you're bending. Another way to just really increase the feel of your guitar is just polishing up those frets. So I like to use really fine sandpaper here. I started with 600 and then I go up to 1,000. Sometimes I'll use some micro mesh for like a 1,500 grit, which is almost like a nail buffer, and then I hit it with some extra fine steel wool. And even after that, I make sure that it's good by looking at it with a really good light, because right now I can still see just some hair scratches in there, and you really don't want that. It'll really affect the way that it feels. You want those frets to be like butter. Here's the first guitar that I made, and I'm not actually that good. I made it during a course that was just 6 weeks straight full-time making guitars. It was really fun, 6 weeks, and you know, that's maybe something you're thinking about. And it plays great, it sounds great, but I'm starting to notice a couple issues with it, which is I know exactly why it happened, and it's because when I was routing out the trench for the truss rod, I made it just a hair too deep, and I guess I don't know why I didn't mention it to the guy that was teaching me, but I just thought, it's fine. So I just glued the fingerboard on there, but the issue is that I have to adjust the truss rod to make it set perfectly in there so that it doesn't rattle. And because of that, I'm noticing that the neck angle is starting to get off slowly but surely. So I'm gonna have to do a neck reset on it probably before the typical like 20-30 years, and I might just do it in the next whenever I have time. And yeah, it's just one tiny little thing. It was like a fraction of a, like 64th of an inch, but it's just enough to make it rattle, and that one little mistake can just throw something totally off. So you really, when you get into building, it's like this very fine, precise thing. You have to be really prepared for that. So I could go on and on with all the things that you want to know before getting into building. Sometimes you have to learn mistakes the hard way, but I find really the key to guitar repair or guitar building is knowing how to diagnose an issue and knowing how to fix your mistakes when you make them, because you will make them. So let me know in the comments below if you have any more questions. What I might start doing is just like a little Q&A where I go through questions and just answer them in video form one after another. So feel free to ask them. I'll try to get to all of them. And I put out a video every week, so if you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up. It'll pump it out to people like you. Also check out the description for those introductory courses that I mentioned, the Foolproof Fretwork and the guitar wiring cheat sheet. And yeah, that's all for now. I'll see you next week.